Hello, welcome back to this devlog series for this indie game that I'm making with C# and Godot. So if you've been following the devlogs, you'll probably notice immediately that a few things have changed on screen. And there's a lot to go through, so this devlog might be a little bit on the long side, but we'll go through everything. So first, you'll see that I have a little quest tracker in the top right corner. You'll see that it asked me to collect spider legs, so I'm going to go ahead and grab these up. And look at that. I've collected 7 out of 10 spider legs. Be able to look at my inventory. I got 7 right there, so that's good to go. All right, let's go ahead and collect the next few spider legs. We'll grab a few of these there. Cool, so I've collected my 10 spider legs, and you'll see that a new stage has been added that says kill spiders for good measure. And now it's asking me to kill 15 more spiders. So I'll just go ahead and blast these guys. You'll see that the count keeps going up as I kill them. So we got 6, 7, 8, 9, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, we'll finish this quest off, and that's it. So that's the only stages that are in the quest. The rewards system is not tied in yet. The quests will not close themselves out yet, but that is in progress. But I figured I'd show you the working version first, and so you guys can get some eyes on that. So I'll go into how I'm actually making the quest system in a little bit, but I will also want to mention something else that I did. So you might notice that the UI seems to be a little bit smaller. So you can see up here, the health and mana bars here are smaller up there. And this is because I spent quite a bit of time trying to get this to work. The UI is now twice the resolution of the game. So the game is being rendered at a 320 by 180 resolution. So you get that nice, really pixelated look. You get that nice, chunky fire particle effects, all that good pixelation and stuff like that. But what I found was that it's not enough screen space to render adequate information on the UI. So you can imagine that if I was still working at the base resolution of 320 by 180, my quest system up here would take up like half the screen. And then I also want to introduce like a quest log / journal thing. So being able to have like a full screen display of that, it would just be really difficult to fit a lot of information on the screen. So the UI is now twice the resolution of the base game, coming in at 640 by 360, and that gives me a lot more space to work with to write information down for the player. I will also go over how I managed to achieve that, and I'll probably do a little bit of a write-up for the website as well, which you can find a link to in the description. Not the write-up, but the website. Maybe the write-up will come later. All right, so there's a lot to go through here. Let's save the quest system for last. I will go ahead and show you how I did the resolution. So the basic idea was I had to do a new viewport. So let's back up a little bit. I had to go to my project settings here. I had to go to my display settings and bump up this window width and height up here. So that's 640 by 360. I actually don't know if you can see that. Let me bump this up for you all. Okay, this should be a lot more readable here. So yeah, so I bumped that resolution up to 640 by 360 right there. And so that way the entire game has a max resolution of 640 by 360. Then what I did was I created a viewport container, which is a control node type, stuck a viewport in there, and then put my zone in there. Now my zone contains my world. This is my zone right here. You'll see that the player's there and everything like that. And what the viewport container does is I have stretch on and I have stretch shrink set to 2, which means that it's going to zoom in by a factor of 2 essentially. So now we're getting back to that resolution of 320 by 180 for the base game. And that's basically it. And then for the UI, it just exists outside of that viewport now, so we can leverage that 640 by 360 resolution to render everything a little bit more crispier. This was actually very tough to get done because there's a couple of random things that happened here. So let me show you what I had to do. So the problem that I found was that getting the global mouse position, which is used for aiming and such, that actually ended up being a little bit wonky, because when you say get the global mouse position, when you're inside of a viewport, it does not come back as anything you'd expect. The global mouse position does not correlate to any real position in the world. So I had to do a little bit of workaround. There's some transforms in here. I'm not going to get into it, but basically I just copied what is actually in the source code, but then I multiplied by this ratio, which is 0.5. So my game is half the resolution of my UI. And through some fancy transforms, which I took out of the source code, we're able to actually reconstruct the actual global position. So that took quite a bit of time to resolve. And then there's also the issue of input. So by default, the viewport will not automatically take the inputs. So this viewport in here that I'm creating will not handle the inputs. So what I had to do was on my main node, which is this guy, I had to take the unhandled inputs from the game. So this is everything that hasn't been handled by the UI, essentially. And then I had to actually get a reference to the game viewport, so that's the lower resolution viewport, and then call the unhandled input method on it with this input event. Now, the problem with this as well is that for mouse events, it's going to be, the position is essentially going to be twice the position of the lower resolution. So I had to detect, I have this transform input method. If the event is an input event mouse, then I have to multiply by that UI to game display ratio, which is the 0.5 here, and then return that event. Once that was all set up, it's working just fine. The UI is now a higher resolution than the base game, so I'm able to preserve the aesthetic that I have while also being able to render more UI elements. And then because I liked the original scale of the player inventory UI, these panels here, what I did was I essentially just exported these panel assets at twice the size, and then I adjusted all the margins and stuff. So now it looks like it's still operating on that 320 by 180 resolution, but it's just scaled by 2. It's actually operating at the higher resolution. So everything looks the same. It's just going to be a little bit smoother when it animates and stuff like that. Okay, so that's enough about that. That's going to be very nice for showing UI elements. So let's show you how I design my quests. So I actually built this quest scripting system over the past week and weekend. And basically it just leverages the Godot graph edit node as well as the graph node types. You'll see this being used in the editor itself, for visual scripting and visual shaders. Let's go ahead and run this. All right, so you'll see what I have is I have a few options up here. I have an add node, save, and open. So I can add a node. It'll ask me what node type I want to do. So a typical quest will look like this. I'll put a quest start node. I'll give it a name. So this is a test quest. Okay, and I'll add a node. We'll add a stage node. So this is a quest, has one start node, can have multiple stage nodes connected to each other. And then it'll have event nodes. So we'll say test stage here. And then I can add an event node. And when I click to add this event node, it'll say, okay, what event do you want to add? And I only had 2 events for now. Player inventory item added. So this is like when you pick up an item. And then entity killed. So like, it's pretty self-explanatory, killing a spider, for instance. So we'll put this player inventory item added in here. It'll say prompt text. So this is where I put like spider legs collected. And then I'll say, okay, I need to collect 10 of those. And I need to present it with the item GUID. So I need to give it the ID that corresponds to the spider leg item. I don't have that on hand right now, but that's that. So to connect these stages and events, I just got to drag this continue right into that slot there. And so now this says that this stage kicks off this event. And then what I can do is I can add another stage node. And what this signifies is I connect these two together. And so what this signifies is that when this event is completed, so that's when we collected 10 spider legs, it's going to move into this stage here. And then when I'm done with the quest, I'll add the quest complete node. And this is not functional quite yet. Oh, quest stage has to go. Oh yeah, there has to be one more. Actually, you know what? We don't need that stage right there. We'll just go ahead and drag the inventory item added into the quest complete node there. I can, once again, give it an ID that corresponds to a loot item, and then I can say, okay, give the player this amount of that item. So there's a lot of extensibility to this system. I can and will add a lot of functionality to it, but this allows me to create basic quests right now. So I'm actually going to show you the quests that I have built already, this test.quest. So this is the one that implores me to, I don't know why that line's there. That's not right. Let's just disconnect that. Let me see, hopefully this isn't an issue. So I'm going to save that, overwrite the file, and then I'm going to open it again. Okay, we seem to be good. I must have inadvertently connected that. Anyway, so this is the quest that you saw at the beginning where I'm collecting spider legs and killing spiders. So we have the quest name, Spider Leg Soup. The quest stage is collect spider legs, and then it's going to say spider legs collected. So it's going to say 0 out of 10 or 1 out of 10 here. That's the player inventory item added event. When that's finished, it's going to move into the stage, kill spiders for good measure. And that's connected to the entity killed event. And this is saying, 0 out of 15 spiders killed. And then here's the ID of the spider scene, I guess you could say. And then once that's finished, then we're going to move into the quest complete stage. Like I said, this part's not functional yet, but it will move into this node, and I just have to handle that with code. So yeah, so that's it. So now I'm just going to go back to the game one more time and show you. And this is all within the game itself. Like, this is all within the project. So I can just go here. What I want to do is I want to be able to preload all of the entities and the items, so that way I can just select the item IDs and entity IDs from a list rather than having to go and find the ID in the scene itself. So I'm going to run the game again and we'll once again see. So we have the spider leg soup. That was the quest name. This is our stage, collect spider legs, and 0 out of 10 spider legs collected. This is what you saw at the beginning of the devlog. So that's what's going on there. All right. So that's basically it. That was the past week or so of work. Got a lot done. There's still a lot more to do, obviously, but it's coming along well. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts about what I've done with this in the past week. And yeah, I just want to thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. You can check out the links in the description below to follow the progress of this little game. Still don't have a name yet, so if you have name suggestions, please feel free to give those out. And if I don't see you on the stream, I will hopefully see you in the next devlog.